Okay, so in theory, she may well be recording, or maybe she won't be, but don't worry, we'll see what happens. Okay, so yeah, just have in mind this whole idea that, you know, that we are heading towards the shortest day next week. So we just really want to be kind of slowing things down a bit. And if we can possibly say no to anything at all that we don't want to do, just see if you can possibly say no. You know, if you don't want to do it, see if you can get out of doing it. I think is the motto for the next, you know, next couple of weeks, really. So just shimmy the shoulders, wiggle the hips, let your hands either rest on the floor or on your belly, maybe micro adjust the position of your head, and then perhaps just have a couple of deep breaths here, just breathing in, breathe out, maybe through the mouth. Have a bit of a sigh. If you've had a bit of a weary day, have a good old sigh, and do that a couple of times more. Just breathing in, open mouth, on the exhale. Just let yourself really settle onto your mat and really just arrive at your practice this evening. Just spending a few moments just checking in with yourself. So if you feel like you're a bit kind of caught up in that big end of year rush that seems to happen where, you know, Christmas suddenly becomes incredibly urgent, just notice that. Just, you know, just accept how things are with you. If you feel like you're being a bit run ragged, just see how that feels in the body. Any sensations or stuff you might have on your mind. If you've got a massive to-do list, just acknowledging whatever you've got. Remember, we're not trying to fix it. We're not trying to change it. We're just allowing whatever's there to be there. See if you can relax a little bit more. See if you can soften the shoulders, soften the jaw, relax the gaze or close the eyes. Breathing in and out through the nose if you can. Just going to direct our attention onto our breath. So as we have been doing, just beginning to focus and investigate the breath. The breath that we've got now, not the breath we think we should have, but just what we happen to have now at this point in time. So just beginning to notice where you can feel the movement of the breath in the body. So where is the breath most noticeable for you? So can you feel the breath moving in the chest or the ribs or the belly, or maybe in the nostrils or the throat? Just sensing where you can feel the breath. And then refining that attention a little bit. So thinking about, where does the movement of the breath begin? Where does the breath originate? So just spending a few moments sensing in, noticing, where does the breath originate? Where does each breath begin? Now just pay attention to the frequency of your breath. So just noticing whether you feel like you're breathing quite quickly or quite slowly or somewhere in between. Don't try and change it, just notice your rate of breathing. And then begin to compare your in-breath with your out-breath. So do they appear to be similar in length? Or is there a kind of a noticeable difference between the in-breath compared to the out-breath? Is one longer than the other? Or does one feel different to the other? So just exploring your in-breath compared to your out-breath. And then bring your attention to the texture of your breath. Does your breath feel whether it's quite smooth or a little bit choppy? Is it even, uneven? How does the texture of your breath seem to be at this moment? Then just notice how deeply you feel your breathing. Don't try and change your breath. Just noticing whether your breathing is quite shallow or whether you feel like you're taking deeper breaths. You might have found that as you've gone through this breath awareness that your breathing is quite naturally just kind of quietened down, and that's absolutely fine. So just noticing how deep your breath feels. And if you could describe the quality of your breath in a word or a couple of words or an image, what comes to mind? So your breath right now at this moment, if you were to describe it or come up with a picture for it, what might that be? Don't need to try too hard, just see what comes to mind. And now just let go of trying to concentrate on your breath and just let yourself settle a little bit more. Just let your body be heavy. And let your body relax. Really feel that connection with the ground. Noticing all the parts on the back of your body that are connected to the ground, the back of the head, the shoulders, backs of the arms, the upper back, the middle of your back, your hips, your legs, your feet. Really feeling yourself just being supported by the ground. And then maybe just have a deeper breath in. Maybe have a little bit of a stretch. Maybe have a little bit of a yawn, just whatever feels right for you. And then slide your feet down the mat, take your arms overhead and have a lovely, lovely, lovely long stretch out. Like you just have a really nice sleep when you're waking up in the morning. Stretch away through the feet, lengthen away through the arms, just taking your time. And then draw your feet back onto the floor. So your feet, your knees, your hips are in line. Your hands can just rest on your belly, elbows on the floor. We're just going to work with one leg. So you choose which one. It doesn't matter which you start with. And we're just going to open that knee out to the side and then draw it back up. So just gently working at your own pace. You won't necessarily open it right the way out. Maybe just out sort of 45 degrees, just beginning to work into the hip on this side. Just nice, easy, relaxed movements, just opening into the hip on this side. So opening and closing the knee. Just taking your time and let your breath just move however it wants, just going at its own pace. We're just warming into the joint here. Next time your knee comes up, keep it there and then hug it in towards your chest, just holding around the knee. And then let's circle. So just circling that knee as you hug it in towards your body. So just drawing circles, hugging it in, taking your time, changing direction. Just really sensing in to the hip on this side of the body, just seeing how things are this evening. Hug it up and then take it towards the armpit, bend the knee. We're going to come into half a happy baby. So sole of the foot up towards the ceiling, either hook around the back of the leg, or if you can reach, you can take hold of the foot. And then just really relax here, really let yourself settle. So just let the weight of your arm, either around the back of the leg or if you're holding onto the foot, just let the weight of that arm be really heavy, let your shoulder relax, and gravity will do the work for us. So we don't have to kind of pull on the leg, we don't have to pull on the foot. As you breathe out on each exhale, actually, if you just kind of consciously just relax and let your arm be heavy, This can be very, very enjoyable. So there's no sort of forcing going on here, just really nice and easy. Let your arm be heavy, let your shoulder be heavy, let your leg be heavy. Use the out breath just to really ease in here. Just taking another couple of nice, easy breaths. Remembering trying to breathe in and out through the nose, through the whole of our practice. Take a breath in, and then as you exhale, release that leg down, stretch both legs away. Take your attention into the leg that you've just worked compared to the leg you haven't worked. And just notice how they feel compared to each other, just sensing into your body. And then bring both feet flat on the floor again, feet, knees, hips in line. And then we're going to do the other side. So of course we're beginning, just opening and closing that knee out to the side. So just going at your own pace. And again, you're not trying to roll right the way over and get the knee to the floor. You're just opening and closing it a comfortable distance. So just nice and easy. Let your breath just find its own rhythm. Just beginning to warm into the hip on this side. And just let this warm up be really comfortable. This is what we're looking for at this time of year. We're heading into winter time. We want to find that comfort. We want to find that sense of us being able to sort of, conserve our energy. We want to really kind of be looking after ourselves as we head into, well, next week is going to be winter solstice. So that shortest of the days. Next time your leg comes up, your knee comes up, bring the foot off the floor, hug that leg, hug the knee into the chest, and then begin to circle and make it quite leisurely, make it enjoyable. Easing in, just noticing if you've got any tightness or if you've got any areas that feel a bit restricted, sort of noticing if it feels quite spacious on this side. Just taking your time, really enjoying, easing into the body. Changing direction whenever you feel ready. Circling. And then bring the knee in the direction of the armpit. Bend the leg, sole of the foot towards the ceiling, either hook around that back of that leg or reach up to hold on to the foot. And again, let's get gravity working for us here. So let your shoulder and your arm be heavy, whether you've hooked around the leg or whether you're holding the foot. Just let your arm, the weight of your shoulder and gravity just work its magic. So we don't need to pull, we don't need to force, we can just allow. And if you think of the exhale as really helping that happen, so just breathing in through the nose, and then maybe an open mouth exhale will really help you relax into the pose here. So maybe experiment with a few open mouthed exhales just to see if that really helps reinforce that gentle kind of just relaxing into this half a happy baby. Just really enjoying this nice slow warming up. Take a breath in, and then on the exhale, release the foot, slide both feet away down the mat. And just take your attention into the hips, the legs, the feet, and just notice how they're feeling. And then slide both feet up the mat, feet on the floor, fairly close to your bum, feet, knees, hips in line, hands by the side of your body. We're going to do a few bridges here. So have your little fingers on the floor, palms of the hands facing in towards the body. So we're not using the arms to lift the hips. Take a breath in As you exhale, push the lower back into the ground and begin to peel your hips up and away so you're on your feet and your shoulders. Try pushing down through your big toes, lifting up through the hips and just taking a couple of nice breaths here. Staying here while you inhale and roll the spine back down onto the ground as you exhale. And once you touch down, stay here, breathe in. Breathe out, lower back into the ground, tilt the pelvis, peel your spine off the mat, hips are high. Stay here, breathe in. Exhale, roll down. So we're going to add in the arms if you like, or just leave the arms where they are if you don't want to. So stay here, breathe in. Breathe out, push the lower back into the ground, float the hips up. And as you float the hips, take the arms up overhead and lay them down on the mat behind you. Stay high, breathe in. And then as you exhale, roll down the spine and bring the arms back over so the arms touch down as your hips touch down. Stay here, breathe in. Exhale, peel your spine off the floor. Option to float the arms over if you like, if that works for you. Stay up, breathe in. Exhale, roll down. On that out breath, and we'll just do one more. So once you touch down, breathe in. And then as you exhale, peel up into bridge. Pressing down through the big toes. Stay here, inhale. And then on the exhale, roll all the way back down. Maybe pick your knees up, give yourself a hug. Rock side to side or circle with your hands on the knees, massaging your lower back into the ground. Just taking your time. And then just roll over onto one side or the other. And we're going to come up to seated. And we're going to do our focused 12 breathing. So you want to be seated in a comfortable position. I suggest you get your hips higher than your knees. I'm just going to come sit a bit closer. So a little bit of revision. If you remember, you've got 4 fingers with 3 bits, which gives us 12. So you're doing 12 breaths. So find a comfortable seated position, hips higher than your knees. Legs could be crossed or extended. Little bit of length through the spine, length through the back of the neck. Just roll the shoulders a couple of times. And then you're counting the sections of your fingers as we breathe. And you can just have your hands resting on your legs, okay? I'll have mine in the air, but you don't have to do it like you're a Boy Scout taking a vow, okay? You're all right. So just settle yourself. You could either just lower your gaze or you can close the eyes. Breathing in and out through the nose if you can throughout, if you haven't got a cold. So just taking a breath in, breathe it out, and then bringing your thumb to the base of your index finger. Just taking a breath in, 2, 3, and out, 2, 3. Middle bit of your first finger, in, 2, 3, and out, 2, 3. Tip of your index finger, in, 2, 3, and out, 2, 3. Top of your middle finger, in, 2, 3, and out, 2, 3. Ring finger, in, 2, 3, and out, 2, 3. Little finger, in, 2, 3, and out, 2, 3. Middle bit of your little finger, in, 2, 3, and out, 2, 3. Base of your little finger, in, 2, 3, and out, 2, 3. Base of your ring finger, in, 2, 3, and out, 2, 3. Base of your middle finger, in, 2, 3, and out, 2, 3, middle bit of your middle finger, in, 2, 3, and out, 2, 3, middle bit of your ring finger, in, 2, 3, and out, 2, 3. Now just let go of the counting, just stay here. Follow your breath. If the rhythm of the counting works for you, you can just keep that going, or you can just let it all just fade away. Just noticing the breath, relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the chest, relaxing the belly. Remembering our focus on our breath through the whole of the autumn. With a relaxed body, we can breathe more efficiently, we can breathe more thoroughly. So just taking a few more breaths here, just going at your own pace. Just notice how everything is. And then take a deeper breath in. Maybe open the eyes, have a little stretch. And then we're going to come on to hands and knees. So setting yourself up in tabletop. Hand your knees out if you're on a hard floor. Good window in between the knees. So knees under the hips, wrists under elbows, under shoulders, or take the hands further away if that's too tight an angle on your wrists. Just circle through the hips. Think about drawing a circle with your hips. So whatever that feels like for you, let the rest of your body follow. So let the rest of your body just be led by the hips circling. Just whatever feels good here. Nice and easily just change direction. We'll have gone in our favorite direction. So when you change, you might think, ooh, a little bit tighter this way, a little bit clunkier. So just gently easing your way in. Just taking your time. And then bring yourself back to neutral. Decide which one is your right leg and tuck the toes underneath. And then slide that foot away behind you. I'll just move up my mat a little bit so I've got space. So right foot is extended away behind you. Just gently brace on the core. Imagine you're gently lifting up on the lower belly. Unweight your left hand and bring your left hand to your shoulder and then lift that elbow to open the chest. Then you could have back of the hand on the lower back, or you could extend the arm up. Just whatever feels good for you. Remember, we're more interested in just opening out through the collarbones than the extension of the arm. So just listen into your shoulders and see how they feel. Option, of course, to look up or just to look out to the side, depending on how your neck is. Just beginning to open into the chest here. Remember, this is where the lung meridian runs or originates. And we've still got a little bit of that kind of late autumn vibe going on here. So if you've extended the arm and you're looking up, look down and then bring hand to shoulder, drop the elbow, bring the hand back down onto the floor and then slide the foot in and then tuck the left toes, slide the left foot away, unweight the right hand and then right hand to shoulder, lift the elbow on this side and again see how it feels. Do you want to take the back of that hand onto the lower back, or is it nice to extend up through the arm? Do you want to look up, or is it better for your neck to look out to the side? What is best for your body on this side? Settling in some nice smooth breaths here, but really feeling this opening underneath the collarbones. So whichever variation you take with the arm, we're more interested in really opening that shoulder, really lengthening out through this portion underneath the collarbone. So if you've got your arm extended and you're looking up, look down and then hand to shoulder, drop the elbow, hand back onto the floor and then draw that foot back in. So then we're going to take the arms a little bit further forwards and a little bit out to the side. So we're widening out. You might want your hands out at kind of 45 degrees. And then we're just going to move from one side over to the other. And depending on how strong you're feeling, you can take your arms wider and you can go lower and have your bum in the air. Or if you're feeling a little bit like, oh man, that's a bit too much effort, you can stay higher and just have a little bit less range of motion. So just see which variation works for you. See how your arms are feeling. We're just really opening out through those meridian lines along the fronts of the arms. Just lengthening away as we go from side to side. And then once you come back into the middle, slide the hands back in. And then sit your bum down into child's pose. So you can have child's pose with knees together, or you can have child's pose with knees apart. See what's best for your body. Try and get your forehead either onto the floor or onto your block or a cushion. Palms of the hands on the floor. Really pressing down through the hands. Really try spreading your fingers out. So you've got starfish fingers, and press down into the mat. And we're just really activating into the shoulder girdle here. Make sure your head is nice and heavy though, and your head is supported. And then we're going to make spider hands or little tent hands. So just coming right up onto your fingertips, so your wrists and your elbows are off the floor. And notice the difference in the shoulder girdle as you come up onto your fingertips. Take a breath in, and then exhale, go back down onto the palms of your hands. Press your palms into the mat. Inhale, tent your fingers, lift your wrists and your elbows. And then exhale, palms down. Last time, inhale, tense. Exhale, palms down. Take a couple of nice breaths here and use this opportunity to really breathe into the back of your body. So really take some nice, deep breaths here, maybe just consciously deepening your breath. So you can really feel the back of the rib cage expanding and contracting as we breathe. And then slide the hands back in towards you, underneath the shoulders, lift the chest. So we're going to come up into gate pose. So we're going to come up into a high kneeling. Just going to turn to face the long side of my mat. So you can do that as well if you want to have your foot on the mat. And we're going to bring the foot out, either knee bent, toes kind of just out to the side, or extend the leg, the outside edge of the foot parallel to the mat. If this is too tight though, just come back to here. Okay, so just see what works for you and your hips today. This hand can just rest on the leg, and then we're just going to inhale, lengthen all the way up, and feel like the rib cage is really lifting away from the hips here. And then really lifting up. So we're not trying to go a long way over. We're getting this sense of lengthening up, as if you're kind of going up to the sort of point where the wall meets the ceiling. So really getting this sense of creating space in the side of the body, space in the armpit, space in the ribs and the waist, space for the breath to move. Stay here, breathe in, come back upright, and then as you exhale, let the hand come onto the floor underneath the shoulder. And then you've got options. You could have your top hand on your hip. You could float your top arm. You can float this foot if you like. So see if you want to turn it into a balance. Or if you feel like, man, I'm not ready to hibernate yet, I'm going to take a side plank. You can extend that bottom leg as well. But make sure your kind of hips aren't sagging or collapsing. So really have this sense of lifting energy if you want to take that more yang variation. Remember to breathe whichever one you've chosen. So whether you're floating, or whether you're planking, or whether you're in your standard gait, nice, easy breaths here. So take a breath in. If you have lifted that bottom leg, put it back down first. If you floated, unfloat. And then everybody, inhale, back up to center. Exhale, release the hands, draw that leg in, and then let's swap sides. That might have been our favorite side, or maybe it wasn't. I'm lovely and warm now. I have to say, I started this class really cold, but I'm just beginning to warm up now. So either bent knee, extended leg, opening out through the heel. So toes are facing forwards. Okay. Relax this hand on the leg, inhale. And really think about this sense of length before you begin to go over. And again, we're really thinking about lifting up. So we're not trying to collapse over. We're really trying to get a sense of the rib cage is really separating from the hip. So we're really opening out in the side of the body. Just relax this bottom shoulder. Make sure it's kind of not up around your ears whilst you're here. Let the head just follow the natural curve of the spine, so it's not dropped. Good job. Come up on the inhale. Exhale, all the way over. Plant that hand underneath the shoulder. Top hand could just be on the hip, or the arm could extend. So you could stay here, or you can float, or you can plank. So that foot goes down, other foot lifts up, just crossing the feet. So just see which variation works for you. But you know, only go into a side plank if you really feel like it. If you really want to have that sort of sense of little oomph, a little pop of energy. Whichever your variation, just remember to breathe here. Taking your time, nice, smooth breaths in and out through the nose. Good job. So, depending on which variation you're in, if you've side planked, this knee needs to come back. If you floated, foot needs to come down. And once we're all back here, then lift chest and shoulders. Exhale, bring the hands onto the floor, draw the leg in, and then bring your bum down onto the floor, fairly close to your heels. Feet, knees, hips in line. Just lean back on your hands. So you can have your fingertips pointing away, or you can have your fingertips pointing in towards your bum. If that's too tight though, take them out to the sides. So we're going to do reverse tabletop. So again, we're thinking about opening out across the chest here. So feet fairly close to your backside. Gently brace the core. Take a breath in, and then as you breathe out, exhale, lift the hips. Try not to sort of drop your head right back. So I'm trying to collapse your head. And try and look relatively like a tabletop. Take a breath in. Come down on the exhale. So we're going to do 3, okay? So the option to do them with extended legs, my personal nemesis, or if you're just thinking, man, that hips high is too much, stick with the bum on the floor and roll the shoulders, okay? So second round, I'm going to go for a tabletop. So take a breath in, breathe out. So I'm going to lift the hips. You could have your bum on the floor and just open across the chest. You could have your feet extended into a reverse plank. See what works for you. Take a breath in. Let it come down on the exhale. Good job. So we're going to take one more. So take a breath in. Exhale. Open across the chest. This is my attempt at a reverse plank has just decided it's not going to happen. So I'm coming back to my tabletop. Stay here, breathe in, exhale. Come back down to earth for you. Now, hopefully you remember to bring your block with you. If you didn't bring your block, now is the time to just shuffle off and go and find it as we come up to standing. So you want your block just at the front of your mat somewhere. So you've got it handy, but yeah, I forgot to say at the start that we were still using blocks. So we're still working on the shoulders, a bit of flossing for those creaky old shoulders. So drop your feet under your hips and extend your index finger and your thumbs into that L shape and make like a cactus. Good job. Now take a breath in, pinch your shoulder blades together like you're drawing your elbows back. And then as you exhale, those L shapes meet back to back. Drop the chin, bend the knees. Inhale, open up, cactus arms, look up if you like, and then exhale, like you're diving in. Inhale, opening up across the chest, lift the chin. Exhale, diving down. You bend the knees as much as you like, just warming into the legs. Inhale, open up, look up. Exhale, dive down. Last one, inhale, open up. And this time, hands come to the shoulders. Just draw some nice circles with the elbows. Opening across the chest again. We're not going to bother doing them in the opposite direction because most of us are quite good at having round shoulders. Most of us want to work on opening across the chest. So just circling, just enjoying that. Just going at your own pace. Maybe just do another couple. Just take your time. And then when you're done, just release the hands down at the side of the body. Give them a shake. Take one shoulder and then the other up. So up and down, really loose, nice and relaxed. Good job. Let the arms be lovely and heavy. So we're going to clasp the hands behind the back and then bring them to the waist on this side. Okay, so we've got them clasped and then they're on the waist. Now we're going to tilt the head in the same direction as the hands are clasped on the waist because we've dropped this shoulder and we're really nicely opening into the neck here. So you can just stay here with the head tilted if you like, or you can do a tilted slow motion no. So you can look across as if you were turning your head very slowly, doing a no, but your head is on the tilt as well. And just notice all those little muscles in the neck. Just checking in. If this is too intense for you, just stay in the tilt and don't do the no. Good job. Come back to your neutral tilt. Inhale the head up. Release the hands. And then clasp them behind your back again. And then other side. So on the waist on this side. And then we're going to tilt to this side. So tilting same side as the hands are clasped. And again, we're just creating this really nice opening through the side of the neck. So again, option to stay here, just enjoy the tilt. Or if you want to do slow motion, no. So slowly turning the head from side to side on the tilt. And again, just noticing how this movement just activates a few more of those muscles inside of the neck. And for some of us, neck and shoulders can hold a huge amount of tension. And remember, you know, autumn practice was all about letting go. It was all about releasing. We want to kind of go into winter practice with as least baggage as possible. So coming back to a neutral tilt, inhale, lift the head, release the hands, give the hands a shake, give the arms a shake, and then step up to the front of your mat if you're not there already. We're going to bring the feet together. So have your big toes together, but have a little bit of space in between your heels, just so your ankle bones don't knock together. And then come up onto the balls of your feet, check in with your balance. And then exhale, come back down, lift your toes. Inhale, come up onto the balls of your feet quite slowly. Exhale, heels, lift the toes. Let's do it once more. Inhale up, balls of the feet. Exhale down, heels, lift the toes. Nice. Let the toes relax down. Just drop into the knees a little bit and then get the sense of lifting up from the balls of the feet. Feel like you're lifting your calves, your kneecaps, your quads, lift your pelvic floor. Gently draw in on the lower belly. Relax your shoulders. Let your arms be lovely and heavy. So we've got this sense of kind of lifting up into the belly and then just roll those shoulders. Take them up and back and down. Hands either, middle finger on your trouser seam or palms forward, whichever you prefer. Find your breath. Just take a breath in Breathe it out. Take a breath in and make a pistol grip with your hands. So you extended your first finger and your thumbs are crossed. Inhale, take those hands up overhead. Nice diamond shape with the arms if your shoulders are tight. Or you can begin to squeeze the biceps into the ears, but just check your shoulders are still nicely relaxed. So whichever works for you. Stay long in the back of the neck, so we're not looking up, we're still looking forwards, chin slightly tucked. Take a breath in. As you exhale, bring the hands back down to the heart, and then as you exhale, sit down into chair pose. Extend the arms forwards. Try squeezing the knees together and try to get a sense of sort of scooping up on the lower belly to protect the lower back. So you don't want to be sagging into the lower belly, sticking your bum out. So get this sense of kind of lifting up through the belly, lengthening out through the fingers, gazing out across the index fingers. So remember, we don't want to lose the kind of strength that we've built during the year. We want to keep that with us through the winter time. So we're really thinking about what do we want to take forward with us. So a little bit of strength in the legs, a little bit of heat. Find your breath. On an inhale, bring the hands back into center. Lengthen up through the legs and then lengthen up through the arms. And again, either diamond arms or hugging the side of the head. If you want to turn it into a little bit of a back bend, think about lifting up and then lengthening up through the throat. Bear in mind, if you've got your feet together, you're on a smaller platform, so you need to watch your balance a little bit more. Good job. If you've gone into the back bend, inhale, come upright. Exhale, hands to heart, bum out. Extend the arms, chair pose. Also known as fierce pose, for obvious reasons. Finding your breath, find that sense of strength, that sense of lifting from the balls of the feet into the belly, relaxing the shoulders even though the arms are extended. Find your breath. Inhale, come back to upright, change your grip. So link your fingers the wrong way. Extend your index fingers, so pistol grip the wrong way. Inhale, extend the arms, so either diamond shape, looking forwards, or if you want to put in, lengthening through the front of the body, lift the chin, lift the gaze, feel free, whichever variation works for you. Remember to breathe wherever you are, and if you're back bending on the inhale, come upright. Exhale, hands to heart, and then last chair pose. Legs are lovely and strong. Remember, you can always perch on a bar stool if your legs are tired. Sit on a deep sofa if you feel like you want to challenge yourself more. Good job. Remember to breathe while you're here. Come back to mountain pose on the inhale. Hands come to heart. Keep the pistol grip. So we're going to take a breath in. Just come up onto the toes on this side, and then just flex the ankle and float the foot off the floor. Just check in with your balance. If your balance is feeling good, you can put in a knee raise here. If your balance is feeling pretty dodgy, then keep your foot fairly close to the floor, whichever's going to work for you. Now, if we can, keeping the hands in our pistol grip, we're just going to take a big step back down the mat, touch down, bend into the front knee. Going to come into warrior one. So you can either have your feet quite wide apart, step them out, or you can have your heels in line if you want a little bit more challenge. So you choose where you want to be. I'm going to step mine out. Easier for my hips to face forward in warrior one. Check you can see your toes. Check your knee isn't kind of wonking in a crazy direction. Good job. We're just going to move the arms, extend the first finger and the thumbs, cactus arms. Good job. Really inhale as you pull the elbows back. Legs stay where they are. As you exhale, dive forwards. Those L shapes meet back to back, leaning over that front leg. And then inhale, lift the torso, open across the chest. Look up if you like. Exhale, dive. Drop the head. Inhale, lift. So legs are lovely and strong here. Find your rhythm as you exhale, diving down. Inhaling, lifting and opening. Exhaling, dive down. And then this time, inhale, lift and open into cactus. And then as you exhale, release the hands and then straighten this front leg. Remember, it's not locked out. It's a slight bend in the knee. My leg looks straight, but it isn't. And then wherever your block is, find your block and bring it inside this front leg on its longest setting. Okay, because we're going to take pyramid pose. So your block's on its longest setting. Hands onto the hips. Take a breath in. Exhale, hinge forwards, fold forwards, and bring your hands onto your block. So really think about this front hip going back, your back hip coming forwards. You're long in the spine, long in the back of the neck. So you'll kind of be looking at the floor, maybe roughly next to your foot. Have a little move around of the block. So you've got it in the most comfortable position for you to rest your hands on. Really have that sense of the hips really facing towards the front of your mat. So you're really trying to not have your hips twisted. And that's why you might find it more comfortable if you step your feet out a bit wider. So we've got the option to revolve our pyramid. So if you want to revolve the pyramid, opposite hand to front foot stays on the block. Same hand as front foot, hand to shoulder. Lift the elbow. Option to lift the arm or hand on the hip or back of the hand on the lower back. You might want to walk your block out a little bit further out to create a bit more space for the rotation. So if you want to take this option, you can look up if you've extended the arm, or you can just look out to the side. Smooth breaths here, in and out through the nose. Really just opening that top shoulder like we have been doing. Really lengthening out through the collarbone, whether you extend the arm or not. Now, if you have extended the arm and looked up, look down, then hand to shoulder, drop the elbow. Both hands onto the block. From here, we're going to go into warrior three. Okay, so we're going to transfer the weight onto the front leg and we're going to walk the block further along. Okay, so you might want to walk the block along, float that back foot. So maybe just try unweighting the back foot and getting your weight onto the front foot. So it might take you a few goes, or you might just want to float it a little distance away, or you might find that you can really lengthen away through that heel. So you want your hips level. So in warrior three, we're not opening the hips out to the side, we're keeping the hips level to the ground, shoulders level to the ground. Now, if you really like this pose, you can take your hands off the block. You can bring your hands onto your hips, or you can bring them into a prayer position. Just see what works for you. You can have one hand on the block. You can have half a prayer, or you can have both hands on the block. Or this is quite nice to do holding onto a table, back of a piece of furniture. Back toes are pointing towards the floor, lengthen away through the heel. Now we're going to try and come out of this in a fairly controlled manner. So bend your front knee, float the back foot down, bring the hands back up into a pistol grip. Bingo, we should have arrived back in warrior one. Hopefully. I'm slightly in the wrong place on my mat, so I'm just going to shuffle about so we're a bit more in the middle. Reset. Good job. Take a breath in. Exhale, release the hands. Pick your block up. And we're going to swap sides. So back foot is now front foot is now back foot. Realign. Okay. Front foot pointing up the mat, back foot toes in, block inside of the front foot on its long side. And remember, hips are now facing up your mat. Hips and shoulders. Good job. Bend into that front knee. Check you can still see your toes. Inhale, bring the hands into pistol grip. Let's take it on the wrong side because we'll have done it our favorite way. So do it the wrong way, your pistol grip. Extend the first fingers, cross the thumbs. Good job. Relax the shoulders. Really have the sense of the front hip comes back as the back hip comes forward. So you're really trying to square up. So really step the feet out if that feels better for you. Good job. Inhale, release the hands, cactus arms, extend the first finger and the thumb, and then exhale, dive over your front knee. Inhale, legs are lovely and strong. Draw the elbows back, lift the chin if you like. Exhale, dive, back so the hands meet. Inhale, opening, lifting. Exhale, closing, rounding down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And then this time, inhale. And then exhale. Release the hands. We're going to straighten this front leg for pyramid pose. So shoulders are still facing up the mat. Hips are still facing up the mat. Bring the hands onto the hips. Have that sense of the back hip coming back as the front hip comes forwards. Take a breath in. And then as you breathe out, begin to hinge over that front leg. Remember not to lock your knee out. Bring your hands onto your block, lengthen through your spine, settle in here into your pyramid on this side. So you're long in the back of the neck, you're long in the spine. Really feel that lengthening in the back of the front leg. Get some weight in the back foot. So again, you've got the option of either staying here, or if you want to revolve your pyramid. So the opposite hand to your front foot stays on the block. Same hand as your front foot, hand to shoulder, lift the elbow. And again, you can walk this block further out. You can step the feet out a little bit more if you find that gives you a little bit more space to revolve. Otherwise, you can find it's a little bit pokey. So just have a little adjust and see what works for you. Again, you've got the option to have the hand on the hip, back of the hand on the lower back. You can look up. You just decide how you really want to express this pose. How does it work for you? Just let that breath be smooth, breathing in and out through the nose. Now, if you've extended the arm and are looking up, first of all, look down and then bring hand to shoulder, drop the elbow, both hands back onto the block. And then let's think about getting into warrior three. So again, it's transferring the weight onto the front leg. So you might just want to lean off, you might want to step in, might just want to float the back foot. I just need to move down my mat. You might want to walk the block out. You might want to hold on to furniture. And it's up to you how high that back foot floats. So you might keep your toe on the floor, you might just float it off the floor, or you might find that you can come up to hip height, toes down, lengthen through the heel, and resist the urge to flip that hip. So I'm going to take, I think, a half prayer. So I've got one hand on the block, I've got one hand in half prayer. You can hold on to your block, you can take your hands off the block, have the hands on the hips, or have the hands in prayer. And you're really trying to level the shoulders and the hips. So the core is working, balancing leg is working as well. Nice. Good job. So take a breath in. Let's come down on the exhale, bend the front knee, float that back foot down, just as nearly falling over. And then magically, return to warrior one. Nice. about a mile down my mat, but I wouldn't worry about that. So hips, shoulders facing forwards. Good job. Take a breath in. Breathe out, release the hands. Turn so you're facing the long side of your mat. And we're going to come down into a squat. So just take your time and get there in whichever way suits you the best. Okay. Remember, you can sit on your block. So take the weight off your knees and turn your squat into a more yin variation. So the weight of the torso is directly supported. If you don't like sitting on the block, Remember, you can sit on the floor and you can do your whole Cossack sequence sitting on the floor. Okay, so choose. So if you're on the floor, you can just start opening one knee and then the other one. So just opening one side and then the other. If you're on your block, you can do the same. You can open one side and the other. I can't even get on my block. That's why I don't use one because I can't sit on it. One knee and then the other. And if you're off the block, you can always use it to hold on to at the front. And you can do the same thing, open one knee and then the other. So just choose where you want to go with this. So just gently opening out through the hips, whichever variation you're in. So we're gonna Cossack. Come on, Christmas is coming. We're not allowed to have parties anymore, are we? This will be your home party trick, your Cossack squat. So whether you're on the floor, on the block, or off the block, we're going to extend this leg out to the side. So you can have the heel on the floor, you can have the toes on the floor, you can bend the leg, you can straighten the leg, choose your variation. If you're not using your block, okay, you bring the hands in spread, check your balance. Once we're all in some variation, this hand, thumb and index finger meet, chin mudra, turn it palm up. This hand, thumb and first finger meet, bring it up, overhead. Good job. Remember to breathe while you're here. And then we're going to transfer to the other side. So if you're on a block or on the floor, just your legs move. If you're not using a block, you're going to have to move, if that makes sense. We've been doing this for a few weeks, so we know what we're doing. Feel free to take the arms with you or give up on the arms as we start to change over. So take a breath in, exhale, and let's change sides. Good job, nice one. So set yourself up on the other side. So either your torso stays still and your legs move, or your feet stay where they are and the rest of your body moves. Man, so we're going to do a few more side to side. Just do whatever feels good for you. Take a breath in, exhale. Let's transfer, change sides. Good job. Stay here, breathe in, exhale, transfer. So we're building up some lovely heat working into the hips. Breathe in, exhale, change sides. So hip openers, lots of lovely warmth. Stay here, breathe in, exhale, change sides. We've got one more to go. Stay here, breathe in, exhale, change sides. Good job. Release the hands. If you're not sitting on the floor, come onto the floor. So take your weight off your bum, off your block. Go, thank God that's over. So we're heading down towards the floor. So if you want to have an extra layer or stuff with your Shavasana, get it now. I'm quite warm, so I'm going to stay as I am. Okay, but we're going to come down to the floor, bum fairly close to the heels. Rest your back onto the floor. Draw the knees in towards the body. Nice hug, maybe rock from side to side, just take your time. Whichever works for you. So if you're circling, do make sure that you do change direction at some point. Then after all that Cossack squatting, take the knees wide and then circle in opposite directions. So just massaging into those big hip joints. Just easing in. Change direction with the circling. And we're just letting everything begin to slow down. So you might want to have your eyes closed. And just feel that sense of everything beginning to settle. So keep the knees wide, draw them in towards the armpits. We're going to do a full happy baby here. So deep bend in the knees, soles of the feet towards the ceiling. Hook around the backs of the legs as you draw them in. Or if you can reach, you can take hold of the feet. You want your head on the floor though. So just make sure that your head's supported. You don't want your head hanging in space. So just choose how you want to be. And just like we did at the start of class, really have that sense of the arms being heavy. Have that sense as you breathe out of just relaxing. So gravity is back to being our friend. When we're balancing, gravity isn't our friend, but when we're on the floor, gravity certainly is working for us. So again, just let everything settle. Almost just let this pose do itself. Just letting everything begin to slow. Take a breath in, and on the exhale, just release the feet down to the floor. Take your feet as wide as your mat, and then just gently begin to windscreen wiper your knees. So taking them in one direction and then the other. Just go at whatever speed feels right for you, and you can really slow this down. Really make this quite leisurely. And if you just want to flop over to one side and stay there for a couple of breaths, feel free. Or if you just want to keep them in motion, keep them in motion. You decide what you want to do. If you think like one side needs a little bit of attention as opposed to the other, then feel free just to settle onto one side. Or if it feels nice, just to slowly keep moving. Slowly keep moving. Next time you come through to neutral, pause there. And now just tune into your body. And just if there's anything that needs to move, just let it move. So before we go into Shavasana, if there's a part of your body that feels like it wants to stretch out, then just let it move. So just really tuning in, just noticing how you're feeling. If you just want to get straight into Shavasana, just get straight into your position for relaxation. But if you feel you need to move something, then just move it. So you just choose. So just easing out any parts of the body that feel like they need to move. And then if you're not already heading towards Shavasana, now's the time to set yourself up. So if you want a jumper, a blanket, cushions, props, anything at all, get yourself set up. And remember, it's the position for Shavasana that works for you. So if you like a flat out Shavasana, that's fine. But if that doesn't work for you, your back or whatever, then have your feet on the floor, bend your knees, or lie on your side, or lie on your front, prop yourself up. You're setting yourself up so your body is supported and your body can relax. So just take a little bit of time just to set yourself up in however is going to be most comfortable for you. Let the head relax, make sure it's supported. Just let the shoulders settle onto the mat, let the hips be heavy. Really have that sense of being able to let go. So when the body settles into stillness, then we can just really allow our yoga practice to work for us. So just allowing the body to settle onto the ground, just taking your time here. Letting yourself just feel the weight of your body. So as you settle your body, just becoming aware of your breath. We're letting go of any effort in the body or in the breath. So this is the effortless breath. Just becoming aware of the rhythm and really feel your way into the breath. Use all your senses. What does your breath sound like as it enters and leaves your body? Can you notice the temperature of your breath? Maybe it's cooler when you breathe in through the nose, might be warmer as you breathe out. Really refining your awareness here. Really notice how the body moves by itself with the breath. So as you inhale and the body expands, and as you exhale and the body releases, just notice all those subtle movements that normally in day-to-day life we don't have time to notice. So really using this time to really sense your way into your breath. Let this whole process of the breath, though, just be effortless. Really have this sense of just allowing. So whatever's coming up, just let it arise on the inhale. Whatever needs to go, just let it release on the out breath. So just letting everything come and go with the breath. Just allowing whatever needs to arise to arrive on the inhale. And just letting whatever needs to go to be released on the out breath. Just have this sense of letting sensations, thoughts, feelings, emotions, just let them in. Just welcome whatever the breath has to tell you. Just having this real sense of the breath. Feel yourself as your breath. Feel the breath as yourself rising and falling. Feel yourself as the breath expanding and then settling. This continuous rhythm takes no effort, just happens by itself. Just like the waves moving on a beach. Just allow this sense of opening and then settling, rising and falling with each breath. And notice the point where the breath comes from, this kind of calm, still moment in between the breaths. Just notice these sensations as it rises and as it falls. Noticing as you ebb and flow with the breath. This fluid, constantly changing process. And now just shift yourself into that calm point of stillness, that little moment when the body isn't breathing in or out. That little moment between each breath, that little point of calm. Just allow yourself to settle into this calm point of stillness. Allow your body just to become saturated with this sense of stillness. And just let yourself become the stillness. Settling here. Now very gently Just begin to feel into your fingers and your toes. Maybe just bring some movement into the fingers, into the toes. Maybe circle the wrists or the ankles. Just whatever feels good at this point. Maybe have a deeper breath or a little stretch. And then hug your knees in towards your body. Pause here for a moment and then roll over onto your right side and stay curled up here. So support your head on your cushion or your hands. So if you want to dedicate your practice this evening to somebody or something, then think about them now and let's wish them well. May they be well. May they be happy. May they be free from harm. And may they progress. Have a little smile as you think about them. And thank yourself for your practice tonight. And when you're ready, ease your way back up. Take your time. Coming back up to a comfortable seated position when you're ready. Bringing the palms of the hands together. I say namaste. Thank you, everybody. Lovely practice this evening. Well done. Absolutely brilliant.